All right, good. Well, we are just about at the top of the hour, and we have a pretty awesome topic today, which is our digital GLA. And we have our amazing team. We have Jordan Young, who is with us from sales. We have Marcus. Will not try to pronounce your last name, nor will I do Arnie's, but some of our experts here from CubiCasa, and of course, Tammy and I are here, just bringing you these lives every month to try to bring you informative and great topics that'll help us to move forward. So I am going to turn it over to Jordan so we can begin. I will be sharing at the very end a link to our next presentation, which is going to be Scanner School. So you'll be able to click that link and sign up at the very end. But in the meantime, I turn it over to you, Jordan.
Yeah, absolutely. And could you share the deck, Mark, just so I don't crash my system over here?
There you go.
There we go. All right, fantastic. So for those of you that have joined us, thank you for taking the time. I hope to make this as painless as possible, but also really informative and give you some good information to take home and to mull over. And hopefully, by the end of this, you're wanting to test this out if you haven't already, and put it into practice. And so the first slide that we have is a quick video that was made by our marketing teams. All of this play, as it's actually pretty cool. Awesome. Thank you to our marketing team for creating that. If we could click on to the next one, there we go. We can keep that that song to a one play. And so, to kind of introduce what digital GLA is, we do have a number of slides here. I won't try to read right off the slides, but essentially this does give you a detailed 2D floor plan, including interior and exterior walls. Appraisers traditionally only get the external measurements, and the interior fidelity is not there. And so we took this a step further and took our traditional floor plans that we have made for years and converted them for that digital GLA piece. And so it does give you all the kind of really great visuals that we provide, and it adds on that digital GLA piece. The second part is a really simple SDK for integrating this into your own existing app, and as well as the APIs for really simplifying that order management process and making it very easy to have this delivered right into your own systems and not have to log into the CubiCasa system in order to get that file. And then the last is an automated compliant gross living area calculation. This took us a few months to really get a hang of, but I think we have really hit our stride and are producing some amazing results and really finding some really good customers and clients that are blown away by this. And the more and more feedback we get, the better and better this will be. And this is really just the beginning. And so, Mark, if you could skip ahead, there we go. So, why digital GLA? Our team actually got together and realized that we have a very usable interface and a system that not only has been making floor plans for years and doing it very well and being a bit of an industry leader in this, but we can take that and morph it into something that is very usable by an entirely untapped group, which is appraisers and AMCs and software companies that serve the appraisal world. And by doing this, we're able to really standardize that appraisal sketch and make it very easy, make it very simple, and take a lot of that guesswork out of it. This meets ANSI standards, whereas we traditionally go off of IPMS measurement standards it's a bit more international. For appraisals, obviously it needs to be ANSI standards. And so we kind of tweaked our conversion engine and allowed that to create this ANSI standard. There is still, I'd say, one or two things that we still need to really, hammer out the really fine details around. But from the early results that we're receiving, the accuracy, the fidelity, the trusted source of this is getting better and better. And we are getting into the world of treating mortgages the same that we've treated our own floor plans, and that it's simple, it's fast, and it can be done by absolutely anybody. And so that leads to my next point of that it's faster. Anybody with a phone can scan a home in less than 10 minutes. To be able to say that with a traditional sketch is next to impossible. It does take a little bit longer, but this really it's fast, it's easy. All you need is a cell phone, and can be applied at any time by anybody. And it's very easy to use. I know that's a very common thing for a product to claim, but really anybody can pick this up and use it without any formal training. And we've actually seen some results that are very encouraging, that it does not require any long training process. It's fast, it's easy, and it can be put into the hands of absolutely anybody. So traditionally, you would not allow a interested party to provide the GLA. With CubiCasa, you're able to do this and rely on those results, because there cannot be any additions made, or if a homeowner is scanning their home and providing that as a GLA piece to the appraisal process, they can't make it up. They can't add in their own notes. They can't add in their own rooms or change the measurements. What they scan is what we provide. And so it's made to be able to be put in the hands of absolutely anybody.
Just one quick pause. Everybody, if you have questions, feel free to enter them into the chat below, and Tammy and I will field the questions and make sure that we have an appropriate time to answer them and get through them all. So as Jordan is presenting, and if you come up with questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll definitely get to it.
Yep, thanks, Mark. And so actually, these are some results from an early study done by Clear Capital, who was our first customer in this space. They helped us kind of learn the GLA piece along with all the other clients that we've picked up along the way. But I thought this was actually really interesting and certainly worth sharing. So if you were to take two appraisers and have them hand measure the same property, and then take two completely untrained homeowners and scan the property with CubiCasa, the results almost speak for themselves. We actually met the accuracy right at the point, right around 4%. But the properties with significant GLA variance, which was measured as anything 15% or greater, we had 0% of those, whereas the traditional appraiser sketch was about 5%. And so that was very, very encouraging. And also that standard deviation was almost double, or actually was double, with the hand measuring versus using CubiCasa. And so we figured we had something special here, but it wasn't until we really got some hard numbers put in front of us that we realized that we were onto something here. And then now this is showing a traditional sketch that if any of the appraisers or mortgage folks in the call will recognize as a very standard looking sketch. The one on the right is the same exact property, but done with CubiCasa. I think if you were to take both of these to a decision maker at one of these lending institutions, or even taking this to the GSEs, they are giving a very favorable nod of approval. And this also provides a lot more of that fidelity and gives you a much better feel for the layout of the home, aside from just understanding the overall shape of it. And we're really just getting started with all of this. And so this next slide is showing the CubiCasa traditional sketch, and also the digital GLA conversion that we created from that. There is no additional work involved in this. I will tip my hat that I'm not wearing to Marcus and Arne, as they made this seamless. There's no additional fee. There's no additional step. This is just now part of the product and part of the downloadable asset that you can get from scanning with CubiCasa. And if we go to the next one, it will actually zoom in on a full image of that GLA look for you. So the green areas are livable, the red areas are non-livable and are excluded from that overall number. I know the number at the top is a little bit small. If I was able to zoom in, I would, but it shows the total area for the floor. And then it also shows the total area for those excluded spaces as well. So the porch, the garage, the balcony, and the stairs, depending on where they originate, are excluded from that number. But each floor of the home receives a GLA image with the total number and also the excluded areas as well. And so this is exactly what you would receive from our dashboard or the API that you are using to have that sent to your own order management system. And so from the CubiCasa dashboard, where you would normally have downloadable JPEGs, PNGs, SVGs, and PDFs, you can now download this GLA image for each floor, along with the calculation for the GLA. So it will show each floor and a breakdown of how we got to that calculation. So you're able to download that and have some proof behind the images there. And so this is, as I mentioned before, already downloadable with every floor plan that you order. And there is no additional piece needed in order to get this. We just wanted to kind of bake it into what we were already offering. And so this was a very nice quote from Keenan Chen over at Clear Capital, that digital GLA and floor plan automation are two of the more promising opportunities for innovation in this market. We certainly see a huge opportunity to disrupt and add a piece to this world that hasn't really been done yet. And we realize we're not the only ones trying to make this change, but we are really trying to be the de facto way that people are using technology to calculate GLA and make the appraisal process faster, easier, more standardized, and takes a lot of the guesswork out of it, as well as reduce training. You really don't need to train someone on how to do a traditional sketch for months and months on end. You can enable them with a simple 5 to 10 minute training of how to do a sketch or how to do a scan, and send them out and allow them to do their work. And so I know I really flew through that, but I didn't want to go through too many slides. And so I know I see a lot of people putting in some questions and comments in the chat box. So I truly, truly appreciate that. And so let's get through some of these questions. I'm trying to go up to the ones that weren't answered already. Yes, David, we will have the recorded version after this so that you can rewatch it and keep that for your own records. Jeremy, the turnaround time is our standard turnaround time of next business day. We do typically deliver faster than that, but we guarantee it within the next business day. And that includes the GLA calculation. And let's see, Mark Benedict said, having constant errors in measurements to the point I end up doing measurements on each house. I would like to discuss where I may be shooting my videos wrong. Absolutely. We actually have a customer success and customer support team that would be happy to not only watch the videos and watch your scans and check out the results, but help you to tweak your scanning methods a little bit to get you those consistent and accurate results that you're looking for. See, Darren, ANSI standards includes the staircase in the GLA. I know that has definitely been an item that we have discussed quite a bit. And I actually would love to ask Marcus or Arne to kind of tap in on this subject. They are the ones that really help to bring this product to its fruition. So Marcus or Arne, would you mind speaking on the staircase subject?
Yes, so basically with the latest ANSI standard, let's say that we have a 2-floor building and the stairs are rising to the 2nd floor. So then the stairs are not included in the 1st floor, but they are included in the 2nd floor, except the open area. around the stairs. So it depends on, okay, how the stairs are arranged in the end and where they're starting. And for example, if you have staircases which are on top of each other, then only the one rising to the latest will be calculated. And I think we have some information also about that in our help center, if I'm right, as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Marcus. And did that answer the question? I think it actually was asked a few times from Darren and from Glenn. Hopefully that answered your question. And to that point as well, we're constantly keeping our finger on the pulse of how our product is performing. Yeah, go ahead, Marcus. So you're raising your hand.
Yeah, and to the answer of which ANSI standard, so it's the ANSI C765 2021, and it has been approved March 29th, 2021. So I can write down the chat so no one needs to actually type that down. Give me a second. There you go. Oh, May, you were quicker. Yep. Jordan, go ahead.
Perfect. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm looking, and it seems like almost all of the other questions were actually answered in the chat while I was rambling on. Do any of my colleagues see any questions that went unanswered? I'm trying to make sure we get everyone addressed.
Jordan, I see one from Glenn, which was, how do we handle an exterior utility room or closet with the water heater not accessed from the inside?
Sure. So and this goes for really any CubiCasa floor plan, anything that you want included in the sketch, you just need to scan, and that includes walking outside and scanning a detached garage. Maybe there's a separate structure in the backyard that you want to have a floor plan created for as well. Just continue scanning. And if that requires you to walk outside and walk back inside, we will include all of that in the deliverable floor plan and GLA that you receive. And I see Chris just put a question: would it be possible to get a preliminary GLA at the point of capture? That would be a bit of a pipe dream. I think we would love to be able to have that immediate result, but with all of our floor plans, it does go to a QC production professional that is not only watching the video and comparing that to the sketch that is being created, but they are making sure that there are no errors, and anything that needs to be adjusted or pieced together is done during that production process, which is why we do require kind of that next business day delivery as our kind of standard offering. But we are constantly working towards a faster result, and I think our production times have actually been reduced over the last year or so, but we do still require that a bit of a grace period to create that and deliver that to you.
Jordan, to add to that, so we have support for different SLAs. So for example, if your use case would need 12-hour SLA, that's something that we can work on together under like an enterprise contract.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And then I did see Glenn said, for the scanning process, what if the owner needs us to scan an upstairs bedroom, bath first, or a situation like that? We actually recommend that you scan from the lowest floor and work your way up. I think it can still work the other way around, but that's kind of what we recommend, is that helps our system to correctly identify those floors and deliver those in the correct order. And I know we're fairly flexible as far as that goes, but it's one of those recommendations that we do make for all scans, is that they go from the bottom and work their way up. And then Glenn also said the reason for wanting preliminary GLA is that we need to know if the measurements differ from public records. Yes, absolutely. We understand that piece. We would love to produce an immediate feedback or result that says your scan is good to go. You can leave the house. You don't need to worry about having to come back. That's something that we have talked about and are working on, but is still very much in the brainstorming and development stage. And yes, Hannah, actual person, looks through every single video and every single sketch and floor plan that we create. It's part of how we make sure that when we are delivering you a finished product, that it is not only finished, but it's been checked over by one of our professionals that do this all day, every day.
Jordan, did you see Jeremy's question? Right before Chris.
I did not until just now. Given that you're including interior walls in the floor plan, does this impact your GLA calculation, or is it still based on exterior wall dimensions for detached homes? The interior walls are always part of our process, and they're actually part of the items that are automatically identified. It does not affect the ability for us to create that GLA from the exterior walls. We do have a standard wall thickness that we apply to the floor plans that get GLA, and it won't affect the ability to get that.
But
Go
for
ahead,
for the apartments and multifamily homes, that's something that we still have in the development. So the measuring standard differs from the detached home GLA. So that's a important thing to note, that the GLA as a current state is meant for the detached homes, which are of course like 99% or something from the homes that we produce right now.
Yeah, thank you, Arne. And looks like Bruno. Bruno, I have a feeling that you are not based in the United States. If you're asking for different measurement standards. With the GLA, we do just have the one ANSI standard for the GLA calculation. And really it's made so that we can standardize this whole process, and that when it comes to the GSEs, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac approving or giving us the thumbs up of approval, that it's as much of a level playing field as we can. And when it comes to that as well, when it is standardized, it removes a lot of that guesswork or room naming conventions. I know in southern states, a living room is called a great room, but to us, all living rooms are living rooms, and that allows it to be very standard across the board for all floor plans that are generated.
Margus, correct me if I'm wrong, but we are still listening for feedback for different standards. So if there's, for example, we don't know the global market. So if you are from Japan and you have like a really, really similar standard to the ANSI standard, please let us know and we'll take a look and see that, okay, what's doable and what's not.
Correct.
Absolutely. Then it looks like Hannah was asking about the interface with the quick edit tool. Looking for an update on making it easier to zoom in and out. I don't know that that's necessarily a GLA related item, as we actually don't allow for much customization on the GLA images. If you were to make changes in the quick edit tool, it would change the floor plan, the standard floor plan that you get, but it wouldn't necessarily change the GLA image depending on what it is that you're changing. But I think we would be more than happy to take a look at updating that quick edit tool to make it easier for zooming in and out. And that would, you're actually talking to the right group. There's some folks in here that can actually make a difference there.
So you can send your device and browser through our chat on the website, and let's take a look. Did Jordan freeze?
Might have frozen. So I'll jump in and then I'll throw some questions. Charlie Taylor asked, when I'm scanning a separate guest house, where do I point my camera while I'm walking to it? Arnie, you want to jump in and handle that one?
Marcus just went unmuted, but basically,
Yeah. So yeah, I can go. So basically, when you're walking the guest house, just scan normally, basically. So keep the scanning angle the same. So then we get the path to the guest house, and that's it. So it doesn't like differ from the indoor scanning in the end at all.
Awesome. Another question from Chris. Have you thought about having different options for exterior wall thickness if the home is brick versus frame?
Yes, that's a pretty, I would say, common case in the end. There's no support for that at the moment, unfortunately. And in the Ansi standards, basically our external walls fall into the other methods category, where we basically use a standard thickness instead of the basically thickness on site. That might differ. For example, if you have a patio or terrace, we get the wall from the other side, and then that thickness is being used as well. So it varies a bit. So if we get thickness, we use the actual thickness. If there's no visibility for the external wall thickness, then we use a standard thickness for that.
All right, and then I think this was somewhat answered a little bit earlier, but are you calculating condo or townhome GLA based on interior wall dimensions?
Yes, so with condos or townhomes, those are not being supported right now because they have a bit varying calculation standard, because the wall addition to the next apartment at least is calculated a bit differently than on detached houses. So it's that those kind of buildings or structures are still unsupported by us.
Awesome. And then let's see, Robert Nelson asked, of those who are already using CubiCasa to measure GLA, what is the most common issue that individuals run into and how is it solved? I think that's really to the group itself. But Marcus or May, if you have any issues that have come up that we can discuss.
I think the not common one in the end, but like one issue is, for example, if some area is not being covered. So let's say that some part of the building is not visited and scanned. So then usually that might affect the calculations. Of course, our system in our system we can estimate adjacent rooms if they're not being visited, but those are not being estimated as default. Because let's say that we have a door which has never been opened, but we have the two rooms, and the one place which has not been visited is in between. Basically, that can be estimated, but obviously then like room types and anything, we cannot have any say on that because we haven't seen inside that space. So those are probably then more as an like run through and fix request, and then the case is being clarified there.
So would you say that it's imperative that we scan every space, you know, whether it's a closet or not?
Yeah, I would say like, of course, like if they're walk-in closets, then with any space, then just follow the best practices for scanning that kind of space. So mostly this relates around like, okay, if the places are inside the building mass, that usually then marks already that, yeah, they're probably calculated in, like all the small closets do not need to be opened and scanned, because if it's inside the mass of the building, it already gets into there. And also then the scan will be in better shape as well.
So another question was, does it actually include decks, patios, and porches in the floor plan? Of course, it doesn't count for the GLA calculation, but in order to get that, would you need to scan those separately, or?
So basically, that would go with the like normal scanning practices. So just walk to the deck and scan the deck, and that's it. So if they're attached to the actual building structure, then if they're outside of the structure, so there's no structure joining them, then that usually is either like completely ignored from the calculation. Let's say that we have I need to actually check that, because there was a bit different case with different case. Well, let's say that we have just an outdoor area that will obviously be ignored, or let's say garden or something like that. Those obviously will be like in the plan, but they are not being taken in account the calculations at all. So they're not even reported as excluded areas or non-livable areas.
Cool. Jordan, we see you're back.
Yeah, love having technical difficulties when I'm trying to do a webinar. That's my love-hate relationship with Zoom. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I was probably mid-sentence when I froze out.
Did you, Jordan, you want to pick up at the question from Raul?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to pull up the question thing here, because I'm actually now using my phone because my computer decided to not want to continue working. Would you mind reading the question, Mark, as I'm having a bit of a hard time with it?
Can you provide any insight on future enhancements you're working on? Will you be adding in a virtual walkthrough to view along with the sketch and GLA calculations?
Arne, you can
question for Arne.
Yeah, so as you sort of heard from the answer, so we have access to the actual scans. So we have like brainstormed with the opportunity that, okay, should the user have access to the actual scan and the walkthrough? Of course, it's not like as detailed as a Matterport walkthrough or the Matterport showcase, but it's still a valuable piece in the information chain. But currently, it's unavailable. For bigger enterprise customers, we have a customizable tool that can access the scans. So please reach out to our salespeople and let's see what we can work towards. But for the regular individual users, we haven't like made that available.
All right, thanks, Arne.
And to add to that, if it would solve a really big pain, please let us know, because of course this is a new product and we are in our listening phase. So just give us feedback and we'll improve the actual product.
Awesome, thank you. Richard Fredericks asked, and this isn't GLA related, but he had a problem scanning a white wall with a light gray floor and he could not get the scan. There wasn't enough contrast. What can he do to make sure that he gets the scan next time he runs into a situation like that?
I'm assuming that the device in question is running on Android. But basically, when like we have seen this on some Android scans that the environment is really plain.
It looks like Marcus froze up.
Can you hear me?
No, he's back.
We
Yep.
can- Yep.
Great. Yeah. So there's no like good solution yet for those kind of cases when the space is just, let's say, completely white and you're running Android. So those are like the hard things to catch. iOS on the other hand, it will perform much better on like really challenging environments. And that's my only input at the moment. We're obviously basically developing and improving. They're both like capturing devices software in the end so that they become more robust, and you can even you can achieve better results or less like warnings or anything like that in really difficult environments.
Maybe I can add to that. So the Android currently, the technology, the tracking technologies is behind Apple's. So I would assume that in Google's offices, there's quite a heavy push on catching up with the competition. So let's cross our fingers that we'll get some improvements to the actual core technology as well.
Awesome. All right. So Tim asked, for real estate, exterior dimensions are typically required. Is this a possible future enhancement? Tim, you can actually get what you're looking for with the GLA calculation. So when you download your floor plan, you can also go down to the very bottom and you can download the GLA images, and it will give you exactly what you're looking for. And then Glenn asked, what is the best device to use for scans? Marcus, you want to provide the official answer?
While Marcus is working on that, I would say the high-end iPhone, whatever year it is, will be the best one.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
No.
It's a bit
It's
broken.
broken. Okay, let me check this real quick.
But yeah, that will be the answer. So high-end iPhone with LiDAR will produce the best results. And I would say that, of course, the same goes with the top of the line iPads as well. But so far, we have most experience from iPhones.
Yeah, just checking. Can you get me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah.
All right. Are there any additional questions? Anastasia, do we have any questions from Facebook that we can answer? All right. Well, I think we've gotten through the questions. If anyone else here has a question, feel free to drop it in and we'll get to it. Jordan, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Do you have any closing comments or thoughts?
You know, I think the only thing that I kind of want to add is that if you haven't tested this yet, please do. The first test scan that you do once you set up a new account is always free. And if you reach out to one of our friendly salespeople, we are more than happy to give you, an extra scan or two, to do some real testing and, validate this for yourself. And we could not do this without the feedback that we receive, whether that's good, bad, ugly, or anywhere in between. That's how we continue to improve. And without that feedback, we wouldn't be able to continue to make the tools that you rely on, on a day-to-day basis. So please feel free to reach out to myself. You can reach us at sales@cubicasa.com, and we will be as responsive as possible to any and all questions. And we are really looking forward to getting this product underway and getting it in the hands of as many folks in the appraisal world as possible. But really look forward to hearing what you have to think about it, and we'll keep on growing from there.
Awesome. And I just want to acknowledge and thank our team, Marcus, Arnie, you guys, and everybody behind the scenes that's not on the call. You guys do an amazing job and continue to come up with products and new ways of doing things that are absolutely amazing. So thank you guys, as we say, internal golf clap, but thank you guys for all the hard work you do and the great efforts. I did attach in the chat the link to our next live in September. We're going to be doing a scanner school. So as some of the questions even came up during this call, I identified and realized that we talk about in our different information how to scan, and we do some different videos that show that, but we've not really talked about some of the whys behind why we ask you to scan a certain way. So we're going to get a little deeper into the scanning process, show some of the whys, give some really concrete examples that we experience out in the field. Tammy and I have come across a lot of the things that many of us have in the chat have discussed and seen. So we want to break some of that stuff down, show you how to get around it, show you the why behind it, so that we can get better scans and ultimately better results. So we look forward to seeing you on September 28th. Again, you can click the link in the chat and you can sign up, and we'll be sending you reminders, and we'll be ready to answer questions as well that time. So if there are no other questions, we are so excited, and thank you so much for your time joining us today. But we're excited about what Digital GLA brings, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Have a nice
Have
day.
a good day. Bye-bye.